If you feel like bar chords and open chords are the only chords you can actually use when you're playing, whether that be improvising or jamming with a band, then this video is going to help you a lot. Because what I'm going to show you how to play a major and minor chord built from a root note on the D string and the G, and then once we learn those shapes, I'm going to show you how to actually play all the diatonic chords in the major key or a minor key using those shapes. And the way we're going to do this is it's going to be a movable pattern, so you can move all the stuff we're going to learn to any key, and this is just going to add so much to your vocabulary of all the chords you're able to play. This stuff doesn't have to be super complicated, and I'm going to explain it in the clearest way I can, and there's going to be a PDF available for free to download to accompany this, so check that out in the description below. So the first shape we're going to learn is our major chord if our root note is on the D string. So in the case of this diagram, we're going to be building it from the 7th fret here on the D, which is a note, and we play these notes here behind it. So this is just a little major triad you can play. Now of course this is a movable shape, so if I wanted to play that for a C chord, I just find the C note on the D string and I could play it there. Okay, you don't need to know that right now, you don't need to know all your notes necessarily, because I'm going to show you an easier system, but that's how it works. Now the next shape, very similar, is going to be a minor chord built from the D string. Now the way we're going to do that, we're going to use the same root note for now, so A, then we just bar our first finger on the 5th fret of the G and B. This would now be A minor. Cool? And again, wherever I line up this note on the 7th fret, the 1, that is going to determine what chord it is. So if I line that up with a C, that's going to give me a C minor chord. Cool? So far we have major and minor on the D string. You might already know that so far. Now for the G, we're actually going to be using chord inversions. That sounds complicated. All it means is that the root note of the chord isn't actually going to be the lowest note or the lowest pitch, but it's still going to function exactly the same as if the root note were on the bottom. So for this example, we're going to build the 1 from the 7 on the G, which is a D note. And to play this major chord, all we do is we slam one finger over the D, G, and B, and this is going to be a D major chord. Right, you can use whatever finger you want, doesn't matter. Now again, wherever you move that root note, that's going to determine the chord. So if I lined it up with this G note on the 12th fret of the G, this would be a G major chord, right? So D, G, D. Easy as. Now the next chord is just going to be our minor chord if we're building it from a root note on the G. So that is just this shape here, which you might recognize as a A minor chord shape. Whoa, right? Because this is a A minor, and this note here is a A, therefore A minor. So we can play that same shape on this D note here, and that will give us D minor. Cool. So for the G, we have this shape here for our major. Then we play this shape for our minor chord. So just to recap, our shapes for the D string, major and minor, and for the G, major and minor. And you'll notice there's only one note difference between the major and minor shapes on each string, and that's because the only note that gets changed is known as the third. Okay, in a major chord, it's a major third, and in a minor chord, it's a minor third. Shocking, I know. Now you might be watching this and thinking that you already know all that stuff, which is great. But here's where we can actually put it into practice and where it gets interesting. So what I've got here is a little chord map. So you'll notice there's all these little dots and they have a number within them. And this number refers to the or the root note of the chord that is built from it. So in a major key, for example, there's 7 chords, but the 7th chord is diminished and not really usable in this context. So I've just left 6 chords in there. And all it is if I see a red dot, I build a major chord from that root note, and if I see a blue dot, I build a minor chord from that root note. Okay, if this sounds really confusing, just bear with me, it will make more sense in a minute. So let's say I wanted to play a 1-4-5 progression. First, I'm just going to map out the root notes. So I have this 1 here on the D string, then the 4 would be here, then 5 here, right, the 4 and 5 on the G, and then back to my 1. Cool, so those are my root notes for a 1, 4, 5. Now if I want to build chords from that, all I do is I think about the chord shapes we learned earlier, and depending on which string the root note is on, that will determine which shape I build, and as well as that, what color the root note is. These ones are all red, so they're all going to be major chords. So what I do is, that first one is on the D string, so I build this major triad or major chord from that, right? Now the next one was on the G, and this is my 4, and this is the one where you just cover with one finger over the D, G, and B. And then the 5 is again a major chord on the G, so I play that same shape, right? So I got 1, 4, 5, right? That's how you'd play it. Now let's say I wanted to incorporate some of the minor chords. For example, let's say I was doing a 1, 3, 2, 5. Now don't let the fact that there's more than 1, 2, or 3 on that chord map confuse you. This is just different places you can play the exact same chord, because you'll notice they're the exact same note. So if my 1's here, my 2's here, I also have that note back there, right? These are both B notes. So I can build a chord from either one and it's going to work. I just got to make sure I use the right shape. So if I was going 1, 3, 2, 5, like I mentioned before, I'll figure out my root notes first. So I could go 1 here, then 3 here, then 2 here, then 5 there. Right, so those would be the root notes for my 1, 3, 2, 5 progression. Then I just go through and I apply the chord shape that is determined by the color of the note, and as well as that which string it's built from. So the 1 chord, again, is just going to be this triad here. Right, and then for the 3 chord, this is on the G, and it's a minor chord because it's a blue dot. So I use the A minor chord shape, which would be this one. Okay, here's my root note here. And then the 2 is on the D, or I could play it back here if I wanted, but we'll do the D, the one on the D string for now. And I play this shape, which was my minor chord with the root note on the D. And then the 5 is right above that on this G here. So I could just use one finger to cover those. So now I got 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. Cool. And the reason why this system is so useful is you can move it to any key just by lining up the 1 in a different spot. Everything else moves relative to it. So if I was in the key of A and I did my 1, 3, 2, 5, or 1, 3, 2, 5, if I had the chords, if I was in a key like D and a keyboard player or someone annoying like that who actually understands theory was like, okay, we're playing a 1, 3, 2, 5 in D minor, all I do is I move that first chord to a D note on the D string, right? This is now my 1. So now I have 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. And I just build the exact same chord shapes. 1, 3, 2, 5, 1. Just like that. Now the next diagram is the exact same idea, but if our root note is on the G. Okay, so in this example of this diagram, we would be in the key of D, because you can see that 1 is on the D note on the G, which is the 7th fret, right? So my 1 would be here, my 4 would actually be back here, and my 5 would be over here, and my 1 back here. So if I were to build chords around that, again, same idea. This 1 is on the G, so I build the major chord because it's a red dot on the G, then my 4, red dot on the D, so this shape, 5, red dot on the D, so again, same shape, then 1, so 1, 4, 5, 1. I could play my 6 back here, right? 1, 6, minor chord on the G, so the A minor shape. Then my 3 was above that, so I could play minor there. 4, 5, 1, 6, 3, 4, 5, 1. So I'm not going to sit here and go through every combination, but I feel like you should understand the process enough to experiment a bit on your own. A good way to do this is if you have a die, right? Die. Make the 1 your first number and then roll 3 other numbers and then try play that in a chord progression. So those first 2 diagrams have been major harmony or chords that belong in a major key, but now we're going to start looking at chords that belong to a minor key. So a more sad sound, more somber. And if you're finding all of this a bit confusing so far or need some extra help with your guitar playing, I do offer 4-week practice plans, and as well as that, I have courses available that can help you out with pentatonic playing and things like that. So I'll leave links to those in the description if you do want to check it out. So with these minor keys, it's the exact same process except you'll notice some of the numbers are different. We have a 1, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and flat 7. It can be confusing as to why they're called like flat 3s, flat 6, flat 7. All it is because in the minor key or a minor scale, those scale degrees get flattened, and so when we build chords from those scale degrees, we call them the corresponding scale degree. So flat 3, flat 6, flat 7. And you'll notice there's only 6 different chords again because I left out the 2 for a minor key, because in the minor key, that's the diminished chord, and it's again not super practical, not super useful in this context. So let's look at a 1, 4, 5 to begin. So my 1 would be here, again same as the major key, 4 would be here, same as a major key, 5 would be here, again same as a major key. But now because they're blue dots, I would play minor chords built from those. So minor from the D string, which was this shape, then the A minor shape or the minor chord for the G, and then the minor chord for the 5. Oops, right, so 1, 4, 5, 1. Cool, now if I wanted to play a flat 7 chord, flat 7 back here, major chord on the D string, could play my flat 3 chord here, which is on the G, so this shape here, flat 6 back here, flat 7, 1, 4, 5, flat 3, sorry, and then flat 6 from this note here on the G. Cool. So those would be your minor chords if your root note's on the D string. And again, you can move all this stuff to different keys. You just change where the 1 is lined up and everything else just moves relative to that. Now, just like for the major keys, our final diagram for the minor keys is just going to be if your root note is on the G and for minor chords instead of major, right? So in the key of D minor, because this is a D note, I could play my 1 chord here, then my 4 would be back here, minor chord, 5 would be over here, minor chord, 1, flat 7 back here, flat 6 back here, flat 3 over here, 4 over here again, 5 over here, flat 6, flat 7, flat 3, 1. Cool. So hopefully you got something out of this and it gives you some ideas of chord shapes you can play and how you can actually improvise using them outside of your basic bar chords or open chords you might already know. And if you did find this useful, I am going to be making follow-up videos for this that will be using different chord shapes on different string sets, but using the same process. So make sure to subscribe if you did find this helpful and you want to learn more of this stuff. And if you found this chord map style of learning where chords fit together useful, I have a whole video dedicated to that using your basic major and minor bar chords. So check that out over here if that's something you want to learn. But thanks for watching and I'll see you there.